Cue the music.
Do I hear the music? Landon dance?
I can't hear the music. Darn it.
Welcome to Fantasy Inception. I am your host, Josh Grossman. December 10th, with me, as always, my two co-hosts, Landon Rush, Jeff Hahn. How are you, boys?
What's going down?
Good, man. Good. Let's get it started.
Special guest, our, dare I say, best guest ever. Big
looking.
Tasty, Mr. Adam Moreau. Adam, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, gents. Happy to be here.
Face.
Very excited.
We are very excited
Love
to
you
have
guys. Love the show.
I was not going to.
First time, long time.
That's
we love
funny.
having fans on. We're really appreciative to have you.
I wasn't actually going to let you on if you had beat me last week, but lucky
I
for
tried
me.
my best.
I know you really did.
We would have pulled for you.
So we are going to do Know Thy Enemy and then another game with Mr. Moreau, and then we'll look at last week's matchups and bid adieu to Adam, and then turn our attention towards this week's. And we're getting down to the last 2 weeks. We still have a bunch of teams vying for those last couple of playoff spots, so it's getting hot and heavy. You guys ready?
Big and tasty.
Yeah, get me off the show when you guys start talking real football.
Yeah. We'll tell you when. We'll tell you when
games.
It's going to be time.
And Grossman, remember the first time we matched up, I beat you.
Yeah,
like 180 to 175.
Pretty handily. I haven't asked you a question. You're not supposed to talk yet. So we'll start off with Know Thy Enemy. So I'm going to ask a bunch of questions. They are directed towards Adam, but before he answers, I want you guys, Landon and Jeff, to give your answer as to what you think Adam is going to say. So I'm going to ask the question. Remember, for these first handful, it's Adam is the one that this is being directed to. All right, true or false? I, Adam Moreau, am a better fantasy manager than Landon Rush. Jeff, what do you think he's going to say?
I think he says true.
Landon.
Oh, he definitely says true.
Is it true, Adam?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's
Does
true.
the history back it up if we go back and look at all your
We'll
wins?
have to
And
take
We both won at least once, and I think for the amount of time and research Landon puts in and spends on these leagues, I don't think his records
I don't think we
show
should.
the sizable improvement over me.
Yeah,
The amount of time is not relevant, and the number
Nice
of
little
moves
stats.
is also not important to look at.
And every
whoa.
single draft, I'm having a blast, and he's like crying
He
in the
was
corner.
very
That is true.
all the way in the back room.
You're only a level bronze,
Shit.
64 and 99 with a 39% winning percentage.
It's because I only play in this league. You guys play in like your other family leagues and clean house.
No, I wish. I'm getting smoked in my other league.
I've got a 53% winning percentage, but that's okay. Go ahead.
All right, number 2, another true or false one. True or false, this is the last year I'm going to spend up big to draft Mahomes. Again, is this the last year Moreau is going to spend up big to draft Mahomes?
No, he can't help himself.
Jeff?
I think this is the last year. I think he's learned his lesson here.
Adam, have you learned your lesson?
Yeah, I mean, even if he crushes the next few games and I make it to the play, I'm done with that. Like it just hasn't worked. So moving on. I really didn't want to this year, and I went lower this year, but I still couldn't help myself.
Yeah, he was a steal.
And
at 38
Vranic
bucks.
he knows when to stop bidding you up, I feel like.
He wants him. Frantic, you want him. We all know. Like I just want him more, and then I ruined the rest of my team.
All right. Number 3, another draft-related question. After drafting Barkley for the second year in a row, is Barkley on your never draft again list? Jeff, what is Adam going to say?
I would say yes, that's true.
Landon,
I would agree. That is correct.
Big Tasty, are you going to draft Barkley again, or are you done?
Never done. Fool me once, fool me twice. Yeah.
Shame on everyone.
Shame on Grossman. Yeah.
All right.
So,
What % chance does Moreau think he has of making the playoffs? Landon.
I would say 50%.
Okay. Jeff?
Yeah, let me look here. It's a tough week. I would say probably 40%.
Yeah, I'm in the 25 range, I think. I'll take the under on both those. Thank you, guys. It's generous, but no. Last week, I would have said yes. I would have taken 50 or over. I thought I had Grossman, but
I thought so too.
Schaefer's gonna fucking crush me, I think, and
Yeah,
I'll be done.
It's a tough matchup for sure.
Yeah.
Number 5. Who is the most overrated NFL player? I'm not sure if Adam knows enough players to know who is overrated, but Jeff, who is he going to say is the most overrated NFL player?
Who is Adam going to say is the most overrated NFL?
This is kind of an easy question for me in my own team. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be on your team, but you can obviously choose someone.
I think Moreau's going to say, I don't know, Cam Newton.
Okay, Landon?
I'd say he's going to go with Patrick Mahomes.
yeah, that's the easy answer.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I mean, Newton
Yes.
sucks. He's not overrated. He's rated just the way he should be. Like
Yeah.
he's done. Dude, Mahomes is totally disappointing. I'm sorry. He's just
Makes good
he's a
commercials.
painful spot for me this year.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's been weird the whole year that they haven't been able to adapt to what defenses are doing. Number 6. In terms of the number of fantasy football, well, you kind of answered this earlier. I don't know if that was on the podcast. In terms of the number of fantasy football leagues that you are in each year, how many are you in this year? And what is too many leagues to be in? So, Jeff.
I'm in 2 leagues. Moreau's in 1.
Yep. And how many will Moreau say is too many?
I think Moreau will say 1 is too many.
Landon agrees.
I agree with that. Yep.
Adam is would you ever do more than
I'm
one?
in 1. I've done 2, but only with a partner. I've done like a work league,
Okay.
on top of this league, and I've done it with a partner, and that's manageable as long as
Does it
that
work
person
out? I've never
knows.
done it with someone else. This
Yeah.
sounds like we're talking about something besides fantasy football.
No, I mean it's the same.
It's a lot more fun.
Is it enjoyable?
Yes, it's enjoyable.
Okay.
I mean, it's the same reason I do this. It's like a reason to partner up
Yeah.
with a friend from work and hang out and talk
Absolutely.
football once a week.
Yeah, exactly. Last one, and then we're going to turn to the next game. How much do you, Moreau, pay attention to fantasy football on Sundays? Are you constantly paying attention on how your team is doing? Are you checking every once in a while, or do you completely ignore until the end of the day? Landon, what is Moreau going to say?
I would say he pretty much ignores it all day.
Jeff?
No, I think I definitely know he looks at it at least once or twice, like during the day, just to kind of maybe check in, because I've gotten text. Well, that week I put a pretty massive beat down on him. He kind of gave me a congratulations before the 12 o'clock games were even done. And so I know he at least checks in on it. So
Adam?
I'm checking pretty much throughout the day. And
Yeah?
confusing answer by Landon, since he's usually on a 3-way
Yeah.
text throughout the day,
Oh,
every single
jeez.
Sunday.
It's always like the
So-
end of the day, like, holy crap, my team sucks. Or,
Is that you saying it?
yeah, that's me saying
Okay,
that.
I just wanted to check.
Yeah, no, I'm checking. Every at least couple hours,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah,
There you
that's
Yeah,
to me
I'm
that's like ignoring it in my eyes.
Yeah, I'm the same every couple seconds.
Yeah.
All right, next game is name that manager. So I have 5 questions. Adam, I'm going to ask you, and you can choose from any manager. It's always going to be a manager as an answer. It could be one of the 3 of us or someone who is one of the viewers. The first question is, who had the worst luck this year? And if you need some facts about some of the teams that had some bad
Yeah.
luck, I can roll that off to you. Who had the worst luck out of any of the managers?
Is anybody else answering this? Is just to me
No,
here?
it's just you.
That's frantic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cook and CMC and Carson.
CMC twice, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much
Yeah.
all season. All right.
Hard to beat that.
Now the more enjoyable questions. These are all kind of short. If you had to fight one fantasy manager to the death, who would it be?
Landon. I would just tickle him.
It would work.
It's
It
good
would
to know that works. Next question. You get dropped off in the wilderness with one other manager and you have to survive for a week. Which manager would you choose?
Not Landon.
Yeah.
Yeah, who am I faster than?
Oh,
Who can I
I
run
like it.
faster?
All right.
Fender.
I don't know, man. Who's rough? Do we have any rough dudes in our group?
Nope.
Anybody who can like build a fire? I don't even know.
I can build a fire with some
Like a gas fireplace.
and a lighter.
Yeah.
And wood.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a tough question. I think Geoff's pretty rough. I think Geoff can get out there and get some shit done. You know?
He would
I
definitely
agree.
take off his shirt immediately.
Oh
yeah, and he would go down trying
We're
to.
getting
You
color
know?
all around
That's
here,
for sure. If we get attacked, it would be game on for Geoff.
He would immediately cover himself with dirt like it was Predator.
Yeah,
Someone
and we
was
could try to
after
make
him,
some
yeah.
moonshine together. You know,
Protect
I think,
against sunburn. That's just smart, Grossman. You don't want to get sunburned. Get that dirt on there.
Next question. Which manager is the sorest loser? You can say yourself if you'd like. It's up to you. If you want to
No,
say.
I don't care enough. I think
It's probably
mean-
one of the three of us.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I hate to keep picking people
It's
on
one of the
this,
two of
this
them.
No,
phone call.
it's
100%. It's gross.
I think Grossman's a pretty sore loser. I mean, I'm a
Yeah.
sore loser, but I think Grossman
Grossman.
and I.
He
are
sends out a
maybe the
text
two.
every week. Oh, I hate fantasy
I know,
football.
but it
That's
works,
Why?
right? Doesn't it work? It's crazy.
Last night, my week's over already.
It's so done.
I'll give you a tie, Grossman. You're tied with me. How about that? But you care a little bit more, so I think I'm going to give you the edge.
I imagine if I was answering that question, I would have said myself.
I think you were
So-
thinking of yourself when you wrote the question.
Right. I mean,
So-
most questions.
Like, how do I
myself.
become an answer?
I'm
to one
also
of these
the most
questions?
vain out of these. Last one. Fuck, marry, kill. I had to come up with the last question. And I was like, fuck it. All right, let's just go with it.
that's
You still
that's
have
a
to answer it,
difficult
though.
question. Yeah.
No,
I
you
still
still
have
have
to
to
answer
answer.
it.
Yep.
Well,
Could be
Walt
the
and I
three
have
of
seen
us.
each other naked the most, so maybe he and I belong together in one way. I think Mary. I mean, if I
Probably
married
Randy.
Brannick, I'd also kill him. So I think I'll just go with him for both of those two, so I can shorten my answer and move
All right.
on.
All right, let's talk matchup madness then. Moreau, thank you for being guinea pig on some new games. I'm going to share the screen. Beep, boop.
Beep, 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 beep,
All
beep, 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 beep.
Last week, in terms of our guesses, Jeff and Landon, you guys went 2 and 3. I went 3 and 2. So overall, Landon, you still have the lead at 32 and 18.
Staying hot. I'm staying
Yeah.
hot.
You
I
guys
am
suck.
right behind you at 31 and 19, and
Oh,
Jeff
fuck.
is very far behind us at 27 and 23. You're going to be under 500 by the end of this.
Gee,
We're going to
what the
start
fuck?
off by talking about
I
the
don't care.
game, the matchup I had with Moreau.
Fair enough.
I luckily pulled one out, but definitely did not think that was going to happen. Moreau, a lot of the players on your team disappointed you here, but a lot of these guys have played really well throughout the season, and they were not players that you drafted. So Waddle, Gronk, DJ Moore. Overall this season, which of the moves that you made, whether it was by trade or waiver wire pickup, are you most proud of?
I mean, yeah, it didn't really work out to start. So, yeah, I mean, I picked up Devonta Smith. He had a couple back-to-back 20 games. Grabbed DJ Moore from you, Grossman.
Yep.
I like the Gronk move just because I have a lot of solid receivers, but it just seems like at least one of them misses big every week. I don't have good I don't have good running backs. I feel like Gronk gives me some consistency there for the last few games, just as a flex. But I think the best move was the trade with Lando for Waddle.
Yeah.
Not only did I get Waddle for Mooney, but then I picked up Mooney after Lando dropped him. So
This just sums up my season, man.
I think
No,
that
that was a
also
great
sums
trade.
up why I picked myself as the better manager than you in the original question.
That's fair. That's fair.
Have patience. You gotta have patience.
So basically, I got Waddle
Yeah.
for free, and he's been around 15
Amazing.
to 25 the last 3 games.
Yeah, he's been on
So-
several.
Awesome.
Jeff, on my team, Devontae Parker came back from IR and performed okay, but obviously he is second fiddle to Waddle. Would you feel okay if you had to start Devontae as a flex the rest of the season?
Flex 2, maybe, but I wouldn't feel okay about it. No.
Okay.
Short answer, I guess, right? But
Sure.
that's just where I stand. No, I would not
Doesn't have to be longer.
be happy about putting him in my Flex 2 spot.
Landon from Moreau's team. Is it a testament to Moreau's fantasy skills that he is in the hunt for a playoff spot despite drafting Dobbins, Allen Robinson, Barkley, and vastly underperforming Mahomes? I feel like I'm picking on you a little bit.
Those were all good picks.
Landon.
I stand by them.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes, it's a testament to Moreau for sure. That was an eye roll there. Hard to see on the podcast, but yeah, I mean, first, it's great having Moreau involved this late in the season. He's usually, he starts off strong and kind of really tails off. So it's nice that he's still with us in the last 2 weeks of the year here, even though it's coming at my expense and I'm not in it. But he got really, I don't know, maybe some skill involved with picking Debo, drafting Debo for $6. And he's currently the wide receiver 2 in our league. Has worked out very well for him. Mm-hmm. And then Leonard Fournette for $1.
Crazy.
And he is currently the RB4 in our league. Mm-hmm. So those guys can make up for what has happened to the other players. And it would just, I mean, if those other guys performed and didn't get injured, I mean, Moreau's team would be pretty unstoppable right now.
Yeah, agreed. Next matchup. Jeff, I don't know why I can't get rid of this level platinum thing. There we go. Jeff had a very good showing with 156. Unfortunately, Schaefer had 187. Jeff, I feel like you've had a few games where you're going against the number one point getter.
Week, yeah.
Moreau, which team would you rather have out of these top 2 teams, Jeff or Schaefer?
Schaefer's team, I think.
Okay.
And
for 2 reasons.
For 2 reasons, Gio. Sorry. One, I think he can go higher, right? I think that's just that. I think he's proving he can go a little higher.
Upside, you mean?
Yeah, I think I think you're both playoff locks, and I think maybe I'm wrong. It seems like he's been going maybe 10 or 20 points higher in a couple games, especially the matchup you just had. It feels like that was a statement, and that's going to the playoffs. Sorry. And second, my strategy this year was in the draft to just bid on any player that Geoff bid on. So I feel like I'm actually Geoff's original team. And I think Schaefer went with the better picks. I think his team is just I think he's in a good spot right now.
Are there any noticeable weaknesses for either of these teams?
Probably. I mean, if I'm going with Geoff just on the QB side, yeah, I think that's where Schaefer's extra points are coming from right now.
Okay. I mean, last week you got him from the tight end. Fuck Moreau.
Yeah.
Fucking Moreau guy out there, my tight end spots.
Jeff for Schaefer. Kenyan Drake got injured.
What a terrible last name. Anyways, moving on.
Kenyan Drake got injured during the game. What do you think this does for Jacob's value? Do you think it's a significant boost or not really?
Absolutely. I think it's a significant boost. I mean, I think that could be a league winner right there. Jacob's getting that much volume. I mean, that's what we've always wanted to see out of him. So every goal line touch, giddy up.
Touching the ball.
Landon for Jeff. Jefferson had a monster game, and Thielen got injured in the game and will be out at least a couple of weeks. With Thielen out, does this let's just ignore yesterday's game as if we didn't see it. Does this increase Jefferson's upside or pose risk to Jefferson because now teams can kind of double or shadow him?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore what happened last night.
Just ignore it.
But that was what happened last night's kind of my answer here.
There you go. Go.
Yeah, he's just going to be hyper-targeted, I believe. I mean, he did get 15 targets last night. Sorry, I did see that. And 79 yards and a touchdown, and he could have had a huge game. He missed
a couple of those.
Wow, he could have put up like 3 touchdowns. So he's one of the better receivers in the league, and they're going to find a way to have him get open. So he was going to be just fine. A little quick stat about him. Did you know that he has the most receiving yards since the start of last season out of any receiver in the entire NFL?
Wow.
So
yeah,
he's good. I like him.
He's a baller.
Yes, he is.
Top 3 receiver pick next year?
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay. Next
I want to add to that really quick though too.
Please.
I mean, so KJ Osborne, who's basically filling in for Thielen right now on the other side. I mean, he certainly showed last night in this game that he's somebody, a formidable opponent, I guess, right, for a cornerback, right? So I'm saying he's just a good wide receiver.
Mhm.
And he has enough talent to fill in for Thielen's role to where I think it's going to be tough for teams to choose to double cover Jefferson is where I'm going with this, right? Because they're just going to get burned by Osborne. So, yeah, I could see them maybe doing a little bit more of that. But again, if they do that, then they're just going to get beat on the other side, I believe.
Yeah, and I think my opinion is there's certain receivers that are talented enough that it doesn't matter if you try to double or shadow them. They'll if they're
Definitely.
coached in the right way, they'll make things happen. And
DeAndre Hopkins comes to mind. Devonta Adams comes to mind.
Yep,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, next matchup. Matt pulled one out here, 101-94 against BJV. BJV continues to get hit by the injury bug with Thielen going down and Logan Thomas going down on his bench. Moreau for BJV, Marquez Brown continues his cold streak, having not topped 10 fantasy points since week 9. All of this coincides with Lamar playing terribly. So should we trust that Lamar and Brown figure this out? Or is this what should expect the rest of the way?
I mean, yeah, in general, with the Ravens still holding on to a top spot, I would think that at least Lamar would figure it out. But I think just with Vranick's luck, I don't think you can really trust it at this point. I mean, unfortunately, it's just one of those years for him. So everything's going wrong, injuries, players just cold streaking. I don't think he would bank on it either. But yeah, I mean, I would think that Lamar would figure it out. Unfortunately, Lamar's not on his team.
Yep.
So yeah, for him,
and I think
so
if
much.
Lamar figures it out, which I do believe he will, but I think it'll just evolve back into the passing game. But I think it'll first start with the running game for him, right? So he's going to break off. He's just going to rely more on instincts. Maybe he just goes 1-2 reads and then he just takes off, as opposed to kind of going through all of his progressions. That's the way I see maybe him getting back into his rhythm a little bit.
Yeah, I wonder how much COVID has to do with it, because last year he got COVID too, and the first few games after Lamar played terribly, and he got COVID again this year and has not played well since then. So
we haven't seen him get the runs. Remember when he had that? Was that the KC game, or when was that? He had to waddle to the toilet and then proceed back out.
Yeah,
That's got to be in his head, right? I mean, it's just knowing he can't do the shit he wants to do. Yeah, right.
Jeff, for Finder, we saw a really fun game, but not good for fantasy in the Buffalo Pats game.
Yeah.
And Diggs and Allen did not score well in that game because of the weather. When you see big players like Allen and Diggs get kind of embarrassed, as Buffalo did as a whole on Monday night, do you kind of expect that the next week they're going to bring some additional fire to the matchup, or should we expect that they're gonna put it to the side and it doesn't matter what happens last week? It doesn't play a role in their performance.
No, absolutely. These teams, they all play with pride, every single one of them. NFL players, nobody likes to be getting embarrassed. It's that argument of, the best college team can beat the worst NFL team, right? And there's no way that any college team could ever beat an NFL professional, like group of professionals. They would never let that happen. So we saw a little bit of it last night with the Minnesota Vikings, who lost the previous week to Detroit. They came out. They looked like Pittsburgh had no game whatsoever. They looked awful. They were blitzing. They had a great defensive scheme to just Roethlisberger had no time to even set up to throw the ball at times. He was getting sacked. So that's typically, I think, how we see NFL games play out. The following week, if a team was embarrassed, you can absolutely look for them to step up their game and kind of they're gonna excel, I think, this week.
Yep. Landon, staying on Finder's team, Devonta Freeman had a nice game, particularly being utilized in the passing game. Are you confident in him the rest of the season? And is there any risk that if Lamar picks it up, that is going to come to Freeman's sort of detriment?
Yeah, I am confident with Freeman rest of season. He's been, since week 6, he's been really a solid player. He's averaged about 12.5 points a game, fantasy points a game. I mean, he's not going to put up, the week winning type of weeks, like a Justin Jefferson or someone like that we were just talking about. But I mean, he's just been really solid. And there was a little bit of concern when Latavius came back, what would happen. But that happened last week, and Freeman outsnapped him 48-13, outcarried him 14-2, and ran more routes 22-6. So he seems to be the guy there, and I think he's going to be a high-end RB2 rest of season for Fender. And then if Lamar gets better, I think that's only going to help Freeman. I mean, if the offense just is, they're not putting up points lately. So if they can put up some more points, that'd be more scoring opportunities for Freeman. So I think he's been a real solid pickup and will continue to be so.
Yeah. Next matchup, Landon, you put a beat down on Walter, which was a kind of a crucial loss for him, 147-109. Moreau, what do you make of Chase, who was a stud through week 7, but has had 5 straight games of under 12 points?
Yeah, I mean, he's got the yips, right? It's in his head. It's hard to score a lot of points when you're dropping every single ball. That said, I'm not going to get into opposing defensive strategies or any shit like that because, to be honest, I don't watch a lot of Bengals games. So, with that said, throw it back to you, Grossman.
Okay, Jeff, is Goddard a top 5 tight end in next year's fantasy draft?
Yeah, I think so. It doesn't matter who. I guess the one thing it depends on who the head coach is for the Philadelphia Eagles. But it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. That's for sure. Under Philly's current offensive system, they really target the tight ends, and so especially with somebody like Jalen Hurts, who is able to just kind of run outside, and they're looking for kind of a quick out route, something like that, 10 yards, 12 yards down the field that goes to the tight end a lot of times. So yes, I absolutely do believe that with no Hurts, Goddard's the man. It would be a top 5 play for tight ends.
Okay. Landon, for Walter, it was a big loss. And so 2 questions here. 1, since you're out of contention, does it give you any more satisfaction to win when I really do feel now like I'm picking on you a little bit. When
I just like that as part of the question.
We got to rename this episode something about me just being a piece of shit, apparently.
All right, there's your title. When you are able to pull out a victory when it's meaningless for you, but it's a big loss for your opponent, does that matter at all, or does it doesn't matter?
It feels great to crush people for sure, like I did this week, and could have been bigger if Chase did catch that touchdown. But this has been a disappointing year for me, so I'm happy to win any game, truly.
Okay.
I want to end on a good streak. I'm 3-1 in my last 4.
Yeah,
I'd love to beat G off this week. It's probably not going to happen, but and then I play Moreau next week. So I want to play spoiler at this point. And
yeah, absolutely, that's exactly what it's all about, man. Eliminating other people's hopes and dreams from playoff contention.
Bring them down to the mud with you.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm gonna put my best lineup up there and hope for the best.
Or it'll confirm how bad of a year it's been for you.
For sure. I'm not going to – I give myself 1% chance I beat both of you in the next 2 weeks.
One more question for you, Landon. On Walter team's Mixon has been on a massive hot streak, but had a really bad game. I don't know if you saw the game or if you've heard anything, but what happened here? Is this just a blip or bigger concern for Mixon?
No, I think it's just a blip. I mean, he's not going to be putting up – 30 points every game. That's just not possible unless you're Jonathan Taylor, apparently. But still, with a bad game, he had 9.4 points. So I don't. It's not like he killed your team.
True.
Yeah, first game he hasn't scored in 6 weeks or something like that.
He did score.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't think he did. Okay, maybe it's a different player I was thinking of.
54 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah,
it's a good stat line. Plus a fumble.
And a fumble.
Right. Last match up, the matchup of meaninglessness. Crispy took it to add more, 127-99. Moreau, Chris got back Kyler and Hopkins after being injured for 3 games. Hopkins still only caught 2 catches for 32 yards and a TD. Is Hopkins still injured, or is he just done being sort of that top 5, top 10 receiver?
No, I think it's way too early to say he's done. I think it's just assumed. I assume that anyone that's coming back is probably coming back a game too early, right? It wasn't a high passing game anyway in the shitty weather. So I think I think it's 2 weeks too early to say that. But yeah, any game back, especially a hammy issue, like I just think there's no chance he was full strength for game one back. No chance.
Yeah. The TD catch was a nice one.
It was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, the year the Cardinals are having, I'm not surprised he wanted to get back in the field early, and just as quickly as possible. But yeah, I think he'll have a week of like another half practice type shit, and just come back strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, big game this week, right, for the Cardinals. So
Yeah.
get back a week early, maybe test things out, make sure you're ready to go against the highly touted divisional opponent.
Yeah. Jeff, if Chase wasn't in the spotlight, would we be talking more about how good receiver Higgins is?
Absolutely. I mean, Higgins has actually out-targeted Chase on the year. I don't know if you know this, 82 to 75. So I think, yeah, he's thoroughly impressive. And even though I think he's going to have a tough matchup this week, I actually do think that we see a bounce back from either Chase or even Boyd this week facing off against Josh Norman or K'Wan Williams. So those two guys seem to give up the most yardage. So I look for a little bit of a bounce back for Chase and maybe Higgins to have a down week this week.
Okay. Landon, for Admore, Amari Cooper kind of continues to underwhelm. Is this the case of there's just too many mouths to feed on Dallas, or have we seen sort of the end of Amari being in that top 12-ish wide receiver conversation?
Yeah, I think he definitely has taken a step back. I think, it's been a rough year for him. He's been hurt a lot, it seems. He missed a couple games with the COVID. And then last game, he hardly played at all because he wasn't up to speed. So he's just not – he's really not great. He's not the number one on his team anymore. CeeDee Lamb has really taken away from him, and Lamb's only going to get better. And then there's just a lot of hype around him this year, the whole Dallas offense. But Dallas's defense is better, so they're not having to play catch up as much like they did last year, where they're just putting up fantasy points left and right. But I have Cooper in my other league where I'm actually competitive, believe it or not. And he's just been super disappointing. He had that really good week one, but other than that, it's been a very disappointing year for Cooper.
Yeah, agreed. Moreau.
He was shadowed by Lattimore this last game, I'm pretty sure, though, right? I didn't watch any of that game, but
he hardly played.
Okay.
I don't know like the snap count, but I guess he was only in on like clear passing downs and stuff. He just wasn't physically able.
Yeah, and guys, we're not supposed to admit that we haven't watched a game, so let's keep that off.
Oh, sorry.
Moreau, thank you for joining us. Before we kick you out, as we have with other guests, we'd like to hear one thing that you would change about the league if you were commissioner. So again, just putting Landon down in a different way.
I bring Wallach back. I don't think
it was our call.
No, I've actually.
We didn't kick him out.
I've thought about this. We talked about this earlier this year. I actually have 4 things, so you guys can take your pick. All right.
Wow.
I think it's time for some change. I love hanging out. I love doing this. I want some more change in this league. I think it's time we switch it up because why the hell not? So
shake things up. Let's go.
Keeper league. All right. Why not just even one player per year? Just rebought the same amount. Like it'll make
Jonathan Taylor
it
rest
interesting.
of my life.
Yeah, I think
that's not starting this year.
I think it rewards a good pickup, throughout the year, and I think it rewards a good draft. So why not one? There's a little bit out there, but ability to trade with using future auction dollars. That might be interesting.
I love it.
I've thought about that. I don't know how. Like you can do that easier when it's a true like my first round draft pick. I don't know how that would.
No, you can't. You can't actually do that because I can adjust. I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure I can like change people's auction like amounts.
Yeah.
So I think I could do that.
That would be awesome. It just again change. I love doing the auction draft, but it would change the auction draft and it would change trades for sure. Right.
I want to ask really quick. Sorry to interrupt, but can you take remaining auction dollars and add them to a person's free agency budget going into the start of the season?
I would have to look. I'm not sure.
Well, that would also be awesome along the same lines. Yeah, I think any like
I
not
think
that
that plays into a
complicated,
good
but just
strategy.
it's interesting, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it just makes it more interesting. A full point PPR league, why not? I think our points need to go up, right? Why not? I feel like we're struggling half the time to get
2 quarterbacks will make them go up.
120. That's fine too. Whatever. Just like let's bring the points up. Like let's have a 150 to
We gotta get our
170
numbers
league.
up.
Yeah, let's get our fucking numbers up, dude. Let's have like a 150 to 170 league, not a 110 to 130 league, where I feel like I've been at that fucking like, will I break 125 every single game for the last like 6 years? You know, like just it's not my draft style. It's going to change things, so I just need the points to change for the league. So
Full point PPR, and then you get a half a point for every running back run.
that'd be great. Yeah,
Jeez.
exactly.
All right. Was there one more?
Most importantly, can we just like increase the damn buy-in? Like when's the last time we increased the
only
buy-in?
one?
Yeah.
Moneybags Walter is the
Yeah.
only one who.
I don't
really
even
doesn't
understand.
wanna
I
do this.
feel like each of us spent more on dinner the night of the draft than we do on the buy-in. Like I don't even understand it.
Yeah.
I think honestly,
100% agree.
like give us all some extra incentive. I know even if you double it, which is still a relatively low amount for what I consider a fun year, it's like just give me one reason to spend as much time as Geoff does on this shit. You know, like just give me one fucking reason. I think it'll like literally even the playing field overnight if like a few of us spend a little more time on this to, I don't know, to make a little more of our cash back. But there's my thoughts.
Wow.
I'm so cheap. I know I'm so cheap. I can't stand to lose any money. That's why I'm always so good this every year.
No, you just love it. I need just like a little more action to like keep up with your, you know, your skill level. You know, your
Right. In
your
quotes,
effort,
air
your
quotes.
interest.
Well, I liked every.
Yeah, that was
suggestion
really
except
good,
for
Moreau.
PPR.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. Excellent job.
Way to
He
way to
texted me.
close out the appearance.
Moreau
Wow.
literally texted me going, "So you're going to ask me questions about changes to the league, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's part of it." It's like,
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really care what football questions you ask. Just make sure I can have that ready to go.
Wow.
I'll put my
Very-
thought into that.
All right, Adam. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks
It's
for having
been
me,
a
gents.
pleasure. And if you make the playoffs, we'll have you on again.
Cool.
Another incentive.
There you go. Good hanging,
right.
boys. Thank you.
Yeah.
See
Enjoy
ya,
it.
night.
Moreau.
Merry Christmas, man.
You as well.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Hanukkah.
We'll have to wait until it drops so that we can talk shit about it. Okay. I think he's frozen.
Frozen.
It's going to be weird.
Beautiful face.
All right. Pick six. We'll run through this quickly because we have run out of penalties, I think. Landon, you've lost.
I did.
So are you
Pour
not
that
gonna
beer
do-
or glass of water on your head right now.
Yeah, you got to do something.
I'll do the egg.
What?
What was the
Crack that egg then. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I have to do something.
Yes,
Right.
you do.
I wouldn't have agreed to the cinnamon thing, just so you know. So I'm not like trying to get out of that. but I will
where's
do
the egg? Okay.
I got it. Am I doing it right now?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Well, would you
Can I
prefer?
take it? I'm
You
gonna
can do it at
take
the
off
end
my
of the
shirt.
show. You can do it at the end of the show.
All right, I'll do it at the end of the show.
That way, it's not like all like on you. I guess. I mean, I can understand.
I
how that'd
appreciate
be-
that. I'd like
yeah.
to do it at the end.
Yeah.
But you're gonna do it like you're gonna do a
Disagree.
full crack, right? Like it's gonna be.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna take my shirt off right
all
now.
right,
just
cool,
To, like, kind
cool. I'm down for
Right
it.
now,
prepare
you're
for it.
taking your shirt off.
No,
Of
later.
part of the punishment.
I'm pretty sure
No?
he said right now.
I did, but I'll wait. Go ahead.
All right, so let's. I'm thrown off by this shirt off thing. Let's go through pick six. One of you guys give me your QB. Landon.
Aaron Rodgers versus the Chicago Bears, Sunday Night Football.
Jeff, have you chosen someone? I'm talking.
I did.
Yeah.
I have chosen somebody, and I'm gonna go with Ryan Tannehill.
Wow.
I'm going to go with Russell Wilson against Houston. Running backs, Landon.
I went with Alvin Kamara in his first game back against the run funnel Jets defense, and Chuba against
Hubbard.
the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay. Han.
Yeah, I want Mr. David Montgomery, who's been coming on real strong here as of late,
Okay.
and it's a toss-up. I think I want CEH.
Okay.
Good pick.
That's not bad. I'm going to go with Kamara as well, and then I'm going to go with Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, I
just to
saw
see
that
if I
too.
can
He was
get
he was one of my on the list. That was good
some
value.
points while he's running back. Receivers, Landon.
DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll have a good game finally with
You
the
sound
Russell
confident.
Wilson pick. And then Darnell Mooney against the Packers.
Okay. I like it. Jeff.
Yeah, I got Tyler Lockett going the other side of the ball here in that matchup, and I also like Jerry Jeudy this week.
Oh, interesting. He has not been
risky
a big
pick.
scorer recently. I'm going to go with Diggs and Mike Williams.
Oh,
Hopefully Keenan Allen being out, Williams gets all the targets. Tight end.
Travis Kelce, going big.
Yeah, I like
Jeffrey.
that. I want to double check if I've used somebody. I do have Schultz queued up here, but I have. All right, Schultz.
Okay, I'm going to go with Mark Andrews. It's going to be bad in a couple weeks. We're going to be totally out of players. All
Straight from
right.
the barrel for sure.
Yes, let's look at week 14. Some exciting matchups. Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop. I don't know why this is not working, but we'll start talking anyway. So the first matchup is you two guys, Devonta versus Child, please. Both you guys had some. Just try again. Both you guys had some good scores last night with Claypool, Jefferson for Devonta, and your kicker Landon scored 11, which is not too bad.
He could have had a bigger game.
Considering he missed his first field goal.
Yeah.
And
a point after I think he missed.
Yeah, you're right. Landon, for Jeff's team, would you start Taysom even though he's got the finger injury?
Yes.
Okay. Jeff, Landon, I think, screwed up by not playing Osborne. How do you think Hilliard does this week?
Yeah, I mean, I actually had Foreman as a potential guy that I was going to use in my pick 6 this week. So I actually like Foreman a lot more than I like Hilliard. So we'll see how I guess it plays out. But I think he has a lot of juice, and I just think that those Hilliard like 2 games were kind of fluky. So
Yep.
Yeah.
And I assume, Jeff, on your end, are you going to put Gordon in for Keenan or Dylan?
yeah, it's a tough call. I mean, I would lean Gordon. I was happy to see that he got back to the questionable tag.
Yeah.
Obviously, Detroit's so bad against the run, so I would probably slide Gordon in there. Dylan has been good, but man, with Aaron Jones coming back, it's just that's really difficult to do, right? I mean, to slide somebody in there that could only get 10 touches as opposed to maybe 12. That's what it's going to be, right? So,
yep. Who do you guys have winning this one?
Jeff.
You're going to do your reverse jinx, Jeff?
Man, Gibson's been so strong. And did we have the Chubb Hunt matchup the last time the two of us played against? And were they going against Baltimore? Do you know?
I don't think so. I mean, they just played Baltimore like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm missing my stud. I think Edmonds might even be coming back this week. It's just so tough. I don't love the points that I just put up last night. I got to go Child, please.
I agree. I think, Landon, you're going to pull this one out.
Jefferson could have had a huge game.
I was crazy. That was a crazy, like a missed opportunity, which is weird to say for someone who scored that many points. Moreau's Big Tasty going against Schaefer, who has been dominating for the last, for a while now.
This team is certainly they're peaking at the right time.
Yes, agreed. Hopefully they all get injured.
I would agree.
I don't really have any roster decision questions for you guys. So just a couple random questions for both of you guys. For Schaefer, do you guys, I mean, my pick 6 was Mike Williams because Keenan Allen is out. Do you think it leads to a big game or is it not really going to impact him that much? Because it's not like Mike Williams is going to run the same types of routes that Keenan Allen was doing.
I mean, isn't Mike Williams on the COVID list as well?
He is, but he did not have COVID. He was a close contact and he's vaccinated. So as long as he has 2
negative tests,
which he's been having negative tests the whole time. So basically tomorrow they'll take.
I mean, Keenan Allen, from my understanding, was vaccinated as well.
He had COVID though.
He had it.
I get that, but he has to get two
So-
negative tests and he can play.
If he doesn't have symptoms. So once you have symptoms, you have to be asymptomatic and then have 2 negative tests. So he must still be having symptoms.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead. I'm going to take this question if you don't mind, Landon. So,
Please.
you
Both
know,
you guys.
I think James Bradbury, who plays cornerback for the Giants, he really thrives on playing kind of those big body wide receivers, not necessarily as much as the shifty guys.
Mhm.
So I actually think that Mike Williams in this particular matchup may not, just because Keenan Allen might be out, I think Bradbury actually matches up very well against him in this matchup.
Len, you generally agree or?
Yeah, I don't. Geoff seems to know the cornerbacks a lot better than I do, so I don't have much of a.
Just do Moreau. Back to you, John.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Yep, I like it. No, I think he'll get a few more targets than if Keenan Allen were in the
sure.
game. So yeah, I think he's going to have a better game without Allen there. But
Yeah. For Moreau's team, does Allen Robinson being back pose any sort of threat to Mooney, or is Fields going to go to him regardless of whether Allen Robinson was there or not?
Mooney's the number one guy there, so he may take 1 or 2 targets, but I don't think he affects him that much.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's very possible A-Rob could be out of there going in like next year, right? I mean,
Yeah, he's a free agent.
so it's interesting is the team that could probably really use a wide receiver at this point. Jacksonville
Giants.
Jaguars.
Their quarter, they
Hook him up
suck.
with. I'm just saying that's where he came from, though. Initially, hook him up with Trevor Lawrence. It might be that might be a pretty good experience, and it'd just be funny to see him kind of go back there.
Yeah, I think he goes to a team that has championship aspirations, but it'll be
great.
interesting to see if he bounces back next year.
Probably end up in Arizona where they have 9 wide receivers.
Exactly.
Would you guys go Lamar or Herbert this week?
I feel like I've asked that question 1,000 times, so
Yeah.
I didn't ask it this time.
Yeah, it's
I would
such
go
a
Herbert. I would go
Well,
Herbert this week,
without-
personally.
Yeah, without Keenan, I mean, as long as Eckler's playing, he could dump it off and get 40 points that way. Yeah, I'd go with Herbert. What about you?
same.
Lamar's just
Plus, he ran for like 50, 100 yards or whatever, like 2 weeks ago.
yeah, he had 90 yards a couple weeks ago. Who do you guys have winning this one? Good
Again,
matchup.
Schaefer's just peaking. I got to take Schaefer in this one.
Agree, Schaefer.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, that Jacobs injury is just going to boost him.
Yeah.
And, excuse me, I'm sorry. The Drake
Drake.
injury is just going to boost Jacobs. And
Yeah,
And then he's
I
got Hubbard. Just Jesus Christ, just doesn't.
I don't think Hubbard's gonna
He's not great,
be great,
but I mean, just as your second flex, I don't
right.
know.
Yeah. My very own Antonio Brown team versus Matt's injured Kamara. This is a big matchup, I think, for both of us. Probably a little bit more me. Landon, for my team with Swift out again, would you play Jeff Wilson since Eli Mitchell is out, or Godwin Igwebue for Detroit?
Yeah, you were very fast on that pickup today. Like I saw.
I know that you're really the only one who's going to be.
Yeah, I was driving and I got the alert. I'm like, I'm just trying to think to myself, like, who else do they freaking have? And then 2 seconds later, you picked him up. I'd go Jeff Wilson.
Jeff Wilson.
It's
Better
I'm
offense.
scared of Wilson, but yeah, hopefully he puts up something. Jeff, for Fender, I have literally watched Fender switch between Ayuk and Van Jefferson like every hour. It's just as bad as me, so it's really funny to watch him do it. Who would you choose out of those two?
I'd probably go Ayuk.
Yeah,
I really would. I mean, I think it's going to be a tough week, but
Ayuk against Cincinnati, but Van Jefferson against Arizona. So.
I mean, but he's kind of the 3 as well. I think with OBJ, obviously, Cup is the number 1. I would much rather have. I mean, if you're going to say kills the 1, I'd rather have Ayuk. Is Debo coming back this week for sure?
Jefferson's
Not for sure,
been
but
doing
he's on
well
his-
lately.
Yeah, he is. Would you sit Marquez Valdez-Scantling for Ayuk and then be able to play both Van Jefferson and Ayuk, or would you want?
I do like Valdez
Yes.
Scantling. I think that's a good play this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do you guys have winning this one?
Grossman got some good points last night from Najee.
Oh, yeah, but he didn't get any points from his kicker, so it kind of
That
just evens
fucking-
out,
I just-
right? I mean, it's
Landon,
like 10
I've
points
watched-
a guy.
I got my goal. I don't know about you guys. My goal for Thursday night players is just to get whatever they're projected for. If they get close to that, I'm happy. And in totality, I got exactly what was projected.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take Fender in this one. I think a little 40th birthday celebration by
50. He's 50.
clinching the playoffs.
Landon?
That's a good matchup.
It is a very good matchup.
good
We
matchup.
talked about it a little bit earlier. I do think Allen and Diggs might look to bounce back. I mean, Tampa Bay, their defense is like their pass defense is not great, and I do think they're going to come out like gangbusters.
I was texting Fender, or we've been texting the last couple of days, and I was saying I think Yahoo is underrating like every one of his players for the points. Like Freeman was 11, Renfro at one point they had an 8. It was crazy. And Fender, of course, because it's me, was like, "You're just trying to jinx me. Like this is just you, just trying to jinx me this whole time." Landon, did you choose someone?
No, I'm gonna go with Fender.
Okay, I'm gonna go with myself, but it's literally 50-50, I think, in my mind.
Yeah, it's a good matchup.
52-48 according to Yahoo.
I don't care about their stats. Donza versus Admore bench spots. Jeff, for Walter, Henderson was limited in practice. If Henderson is active, do you play him or do you play Odell, who Walter also has? What the fuck?
I'm just getting ready.
It's getting hot in here.
I was not watching, and now I'm gonna. Can I like remove video? Would you play Henderson if he's active or Odell?
Henderson if he's active,
Okay.
like 100%.
Not worried about, because I think it was last game where he was active and they didn't do anything with him.
If he's active, I think he's a full go, man.
Okay. Landon for Admore. This is kind of obvious, but there's not much questions here. Pollard is injured, but might still play. At the same time, Julio seems like he's coming back to play. So do you play Julio even if Pollard's active, or would you take the risk on Pollard if he was active?
Yeah, from everything that I've been hearing, he's not going to play. So I would not take the risk on him. But yeah, I mean, he also has Darren Waller out, so he's got to put Higbee in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, he kind of has to play Julio.
Julio's a good play this week. I like Julio this week.
No, agreed. Who do you guys have winning it?
Danza.
I'll take Danza. Could have been a big game if Firemove caught that second touchdown last night.
Yeah.
That was a bullet of a pass too.
It was.
It was a really good second half of it.
That was a great ending.
Oh, typical Minnesota though.
Fucking
just
Chase
collapsing
Claypool.
Second half.
What a douche Claypool is, but so talented. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm going to go with Walter as well. Last matchup, BJV versus Crispy. A monster game for Cook yesterday. Landon for BJV. Jamal Williams is now out with COVID. Vranick does not have an RB to replace him. On the waivers, we do have the combo of Rashad Penny and Alex Collins. Which one of those would you choose if you were going to choose one of them?
Rashad Penny or Alex Collins?
Yep.
You have to pick one?
You have to.
I'd go Penny.
Okay.
I'd go Collins.
Oh, see, there we go. Interesting.
They both suck.
Tune in next week when we'll see.
He should switch to Denver's defense, though.
Does he have Denver on the bench?
Yeah.
Against Detroit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Denver's kind of underwhelms a lot of times, but yeah. Jeff Hawkinson is in Chris's flex, but he is doubtful. If he doesn't play, Chris has Beasley, AJ Green, and McKissick on his bench. Which of those guys would you choose?
McKissick probably.
Okay. Who wins this one?
Man, it's
Sorry. Struggling.
nice game by Cook. I got to go BJV.
Yeah, that really helps.
Got a nice little Wilson matchup. You guys are both taking Wilson, I think, or we actually all are kind of leaning on Wilson in some way. So
I'm going to go Crispy Taco.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't like the rest of his team.
I know.
For Vranick. I think I'm going to go Chris as well. All right, now we are done with matchups, and I guess the only thing left is shirtless Landon with an egg.
All right, let's do
You
it.
have a lot of chest hair. Okay.
Looks good. I'm jealous.
What?
Fucking Devonta Smith.
Yes. All right.
Oh, on my pants.
Should have taken off your pants.
Off your pants?
Oh, that was bad.
Awesome. That's great. Good job.
Yeah, I'm proud of you, man.
Bad. Oh,
I don't think a paper towel is going to be
oh.
just the
Gee.
new hair gel.
Walk us to the shower, bud. We'll go
Guess
with
I
it.
gotta go take a shower now,
Absolutely.
or maybe
You
I don't
shouldn't.
have to.
Just go to bed.
Just go to
Try,
bed.
just start kissing on Dana and see what she says.
Oh.
Do you smell like egg?
Gross.
Guys, this has been a pleasure. It's exciting to see this come down to the wire, and yeah.
Yeah, good luck out there, boys.
So, yeah, who's the team that clinches the 4th spot here? Who is it?
I think it's going to be. I mean, I think it's down to really Walter, myself.
Yeah.
I
mean, obviously
know.
you're in the spot right now.
I know, but I don't. If I have Schaefer next week, so I'm I very much need to win this one. So we'll see. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm in 5th, but starting 0-4 to the season, I'm pretty happy with how it's gone since then. So, anyways, guys, it's been a pleasure.
I mean, you got the point advantage on Danza too, you know?
Yeah, but just by a little. Not
20,
much.
I think. So he's got to put up a kind of a decent week.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, we will see.
All right.
Okay.
Gents, go take a shower, Landon.
Yeah.
Say,
Bath.
yeah.
Later, boys.
Later.